in a quiet neighborhood, nestled between laughter-filled homes and blinking television windows. One house remained still, always still. The air around it was different, heavier. The welcome mat, a ghost of its former self. Neighbors passing by might have noted the stillness, the unchanging curtains, a subtle wrongness they couldn't quite place. It wasn't until weeks later. And behind those dusty windows, silence had taken root, deeper and more profound than the usual quiet of an empty house. This house was home to a woman who kept to herself, a woman no one in the neighborhood really knew. Her name was Sarah, a woman in her later years, warm eyes that glimpsed rarely, a very quiet smile. Always alone, neighbors would wave, and she'd nod back, perhaps. But they never truly saw her eyes, the ones that carried stories she never told. Who was Sarah? A brilliant engineer, her family would tell you. Sharp mind, quiet determination. A daddy's girl with her eyes lighting up whenever he was near. A woman whose heart once pulsed with promise. Until slowly, almost imperceptibly, it began to break. And no one noticed the cracks forming. Growing up, Sarah was the star. The quiet achiever. Always reading, always learning. She was her father's shadow, his pride. This one, he'd boom, his voice thick with affection. She's going to do great things. And she did. She landed her dream job, climbed the corporate ladder like it was designed for her footsteps. Success came easily, naturally. Life, from the outside, seemed perfect, polished and complete. Then love arrived, or what she believed was love. Chuka, a doctor with a smile that could warm anyone's heart. A year later, they were married. A simple wedding, full of whispered promises, shared prayers, new beginnings. I've never felt more certain, she whispered to her sister once. It feels like God brought him. She said happily. Less than 2 years later, an opportunity called Chuka across the ocean. In America, a new job, a new chapter. At first, the calls came often, bridging the distance with laughter, plans, and reassurance. The screen of her phone would light up with Chuka's name, a flicker of the old hope in her eyes. But the calls grew brief, his voice distant. One call ended abruptly with a mumbled excuse about a patient. Until one day, they stopped altogether. Silence stretched across the Atlantic. A heavy, suffocating silence. The blow didn't come from him. It came sideways, unexpectedly. A message from an old friend. Sarah, is it true? About Chuka getting married again? About? She froze. A cold dread washed over her. Then she saw the photos. Chuka, another woman. A new life, built on the ashes of theirs. No word, no explanation, no apology. Just gone. She didn't scream. She didn't weep. Not where anyone could see. But somewhere deep inside. A switch flipped. A light went out. That echoing silence from across the ocean seeped into her and stayed. She tried to rebuild. Poured herself into work, then into faith. 3 years later, she moved cities, seeking a fresh start, perhaps anonymity. Her prayers shifted. The once familiar verses felt empty, so she cried out loudly against unseen forces, her knuckles pale as she gripped the worn pages, fear in her lowered eyes. Whispers of spiritual attacks, unseen forces holding her back. Someone must be behind this, she thought. A hidden enemy, a curse, Someone tying my destiny. Every witch in my father's house die by fire. And slowly, deliberately, she began to build walls. Brick by silent brick. Family, friends, colleagues, blocked, deleted, ignored. Everyone was shut out. Everyone except the church. To them, she gave the little she had left. Her time, her money, her fragile faith. Quietly and generously. Hoping perhaps for a different kind of family. A new environment, a divine intervention. She wouldn't go home. Not even when her father died quietly in his sleep. A few years later, her mother followed. Still, Sarah stayed away, locked behind her walls. Her siblings, they were heartbroken, confused and exhausted. But for over 15 years, they never stopped trying. Every birthday, every month, every Christmas, every celebration, they sent messages and pictures to her. We love you, Sarah. Please call us. And every time, those 2 blue ticks on their messages were the only sign of life, a digital heartbeat in the vast silence. Seen, read, not much, but something, a sign of life. Until one Christmas. Nothing. That Christmas, the message hung there, stark white against the blue background. Happy holidays. We love you, Sarah. Days turned to weeks. Silence grew heavy. Growing increasingly worried, her siblings reached out to Mark, a family friend who lived in the same city as Sarah, not expecting a warm welcome from Sarah, but hoping for some response. Mark felt a knot of unease tighten in his stomach as he approached Sarah's house. The silence wasn't just quiet. It was absolute, suffocating. Her car was parked outside and coated in dust. He spoke with her few neighbors. Haven't seen her in weeks. Maybe she traveled? They wondered if she traveled for a church program and so asked him to try her church. Perhaps we can find a way to reach her. Maybe her phone is lost. He asked for her at the church. Blank stares. He showed them her photo. This is an old picture, but this face doesn't look familiar. Then one person blinked. I know her. She just left with her husband. Check back Wednesday at 5 p.m. She would be around. Mark felt relieved. When he told her siblings, relief washed over them. Then confusion. She remarried. The relief felt hollow. They asked him to return on Wednesday, as advised, so that he could see her and also get a reachable phone number. So he did. He sat through the prayers, the sermon, his eyes scanning every face. She wasn't there. Then he confirmed that it wasn't her, just a mistaken identity. Her siblings decided to make the journey themselves. Something didn't feel right. So they escalated and spoke with church leadership. And all they said was, she hasn't been coming. We assumed she switched churches. That was it. No follow-up, no concern. No one called when she disappeared. The institution she gave everything to offered nothing, just empty platitudes. Heartbroken, angry, and desperate, they went to the police, reported the case, and navigated red tape. The police suggested breaking into the house to find any clues that could support their investigation. When they got to the house, a tiny bit that Mark and her neighbors missed. There was no padlock on the door, meaning it was locked from inside. So they tried knocking and trying to get the attention of anyone in the house. After some time, they decided to force the door. The door creaked open. The air inside was thick, heavy, with the unmistakable scent of decay. A grim testament to the weeks that had passed unnoticed. Death. Aloneness. There she was. Lying on the floor in her kitchen. Unrecognizable. Nobody knew. Not the neighbors shuffling past her door day after day. Not the congregation she always prayed with. Not even the family who shared her blood. Her childhood memories. The only things left breathing in that silent house were the flies, the creeping decay, and the unanswered questions trapped within the walls. They wept. They cleaned. They packed the remnants of a life paused. They arranged to take her body home and buried her there. No crowd, just the few who had loved her, whose calls went unanswered, whose messages went unread, until it was too late. When was the last time you checked on someone who suddenly went quiet? This isn't just a story. It's a mirror, a warning,